Hey guys, uh, Ladarius Grimion, back here with another video, and this is going to be answering the question that comes from Quora, and the question is, how do you make your life meaningful? How do you make your life meaningful? And man, this is a great question, so I'm really going to enjoy this one. But yeah, how do you make your life meaningful? Okay, so let's get into that. This is a really good question, and it's very subjective. I will be honest, it's not objective, because how do you define meaning? I mean, what is meaningful? What is the purpose of life? I mean, who can really know? I mean, we can speculate. Maybe maybe the maybe the purpose is up to us to decide. Maybe we create our own meaning, you know? Because think about it. If we all have freedom of choice and we all have the freedom to make decisions on our own, then don't we have the freedom to create our own meaning? So maybe, perhaps, it's not about what the meaning of life is. Perhaps it's about what the meaning of life is to us as individuals. Maybe that's what it means. So it's really not sure. What is the meaning of life? You could say, well, the meaning of life is just to live and die, right? I mean, we know we're born, and then eventually we're going to die. I mean, if you just look around and you look at how just like violent the world is, it's very tragic, it's terrible. I mean, things just constantly killing each other, you know, wars, different animals eating each other just to survive. We as humans, we go kill other stuff to survive. It's literally this giant circle of life, and you have all these species killing each other just to live. And it's very tragic and dark and cynical. The idea that you can't even survive without killing something else. It's just chaotic, right? Everything's killing one another. Different animals killing, eating one another just to live, just to make it in life. And it really makes you think, gosh, what's the meaning in all this? Chaos, just chaos everywhere. You got storms that just wreck society, wreck the world, and kill thousands of life forms, you know? There's just all this chaos. And it's like, what's the purpose in all this? But the thing is that, you know, people might say, well, there's no meaning. There's no meaning to all this. It's just chaos. Well, you could argue, well, then life is what you make it, right? Life is what you personally decide is meaningful. It's not about meaning being objective or purpose being objective. It's about purpose being meaningful, something being meaningful and purposeful to you as an individual. And maybe because we're all free to a degree in this, you know, world, maybe it's up to us to decide what that meaning is. Maybe. So that's one argument of it. Another argument is that, yeah, while the world is chaotic, it's very chaotic, don't get me wrong, there still appears to be some form of order. And we know this, even if you look at the way the universe works and like our solar system, the way the planets orbit around the sun. You know, that's an order. So the very fact that there is an order, there has to be a purpose. Because if it really was just chaotic and stuff just happened then the stuff wouldn't happen with intent. But we know that the planets orbit around the sun, and we know that, you know, there's 24 hours in a day, and you're going to have about 12 hours of light, and you're going to have about 12 hours of night, and that is consistent every single time. So, and as much as there is chaos in this world, there is an order also. So that is something to take into account, is that, like, yeah, chaos exists, but there's also order. I mean, the very universe itself is chaotic, but it's also orderly at the same time. And so you have to ask yourself, well, who created that order? And that's a whole nother debate, you know. But I strongly believe in intelligent design. Whether you want to call that God or a creator, whatever. But if you think about it, order does not beget chaos. Chaos begets chaos, and order begets chaos. I mean, order begets order, right? Order just creates more order. So something brought order to the universe, to a degree. You know, the way the earth has been around for millions of years, and it's a cycle. It orbits around the sun, and that there is an order here, you know, where life can exist. And then now mankind is putting order on earth. So you might say, well, who created that order, you know? I mean, we can guess, we can speculate. Who really knows? I mean, is there some giant kid up there that's playing with everything, making everything, and we're just like this ant pile on the earth? I don't know. I mean, do I think that's a strong possibility? Sure. I mean, think about it. Man, just think about it. If there really is a God and God was evil, there would be some stuff. I mean, just imagine like a kid up there playing around, just tossing planets around, just destroying planets like some giant kid. What if there's just some giant kid that's enjoying all this stuff, you know? I don't know. That's just a crazy thought. But anyway, back to the question. So, there's that. There is a form of order to the universe. And even if we look at that's just a macro level, right? But even if we look at the micro level, there is an order to how we conduct our lives and the impact we leave on the world. You see mankind constantly bringing about order to the world. Consistently. We build houses, we build communities, we build structure, because with order comes safety. With order, we are able to reduce suffering in society, in the world, and not just for the human race, but for everything connected to it. Our life forms benefit from having order in their life, right? And mankind has brought order to the world to a degree, and with that order we have reduced suffering for the human race, and not just human race, but for our life forms. Is it perfect? No. But if you look at history, you will realize that the trajectory of the world is getting better. It's reducing suffering, not just for humans, but for our life forms. And so when you ask, well, how do you find meaning in your life? How do you add meaning to your life? Well, the way I see it is like, we as human beings are already adding so much value to the world, or adding so much order to the world, that we are actually reducing suffering. We have, for example, we have houses now. Houses protect us from the heat and the sun. We have AC, right? Air conditioners. And then we have transportation. We can get places more efficiently with cars and even airplanes. All right, we can travel across the world in a matter of hours from an airplane, right? Then we can go to space and possibly, you know, colonize other planets and be a multi-planet species, right? Elon Musk. You know, it's like we are reducing suffering to the point where we do not have to have experienced life so painful on this earth, where it's like we're literally just here to live and then die, basically. and live painfully. We don't have to live painfully. We can live peaceably, and we don't have to suffer. We can reduce suffering. And you say, well, what is the meaning to life? I think if enough people got their act together individually, we can reduce suffering to a greater degree. Instead of just letting the 20%, the 30% who really want to do great things for their life do the hard work. If we all took care of ourselves and made a difference in our individual lives and our communities, we would make the world a better place and reduce suffering. You know, for everything. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect yet. I mean, it's still very violent and tragic the way this world works, but it's beautiful at the same time. It's like yin and yang. Because, yeah, you know, we're at peace for the most part in the human race, but we're still killing other life forms. Like, there's tons of, like, chicken slaughterhouses, you know, around the world where chickens are just being killed. They're in these factories. They're literally born to die. That's pretty dark. I mean, literally species of animals are killed just to sustain ourselves. And that's just, when I think about that, man, I don't know. It's pretty dark. So, do I think that one day we may be able to solve that problem? I do. I think that, I mean, if you just look at the trajectory, life is getting better. The more of an order we bring to the world, the better we are at solving these problems and making life better for all life forms, not just the human race. Less war, less violence for everything. And the more we educate ourselves, the more we better ourselves individually, we can help our immediate families. And as we help our immediate families, they help people in their life, and those people help people in their life, and it's this, literally it compounds. It's like interest rates or something. And everybody benefits from it, right? So you have to ask yourself, how much will your family, the people you love, benefit if you got your act together? If you really stepped up, if you really became successful, if you really created a business, right, and helped society, how much would your family benefit from the money and the success and the fame? Or what if you found a way to cure cancer? How much of an impact would you leave on the world? And so, over the years, I have concluded that the purpose of life is to reduce suffering. It's to reduce suffering as much as possible. And also, you know, I've concluded this, that, you know, because we often talk about what is the absolute good. You know, there's this thing, well, the absolute good doesn't exist. And for the most part, you're right, it's not absolute, because good is subjective. Good is subjective to the individual. What's good for one person might not be good for the other person, right? It's like a lion. If a lion goes and eat you, then that's bad for you, right? But that's good for the lion. But if you go and kill a deer and eat it, well, you have food, you can live another day without dying, and that's good for you. So good is interest-based, and with something being interest-based, it means something else possibly taking a loss. So the absolute good doesn't exist, or does it? Because if you really look at it, it's like yin and yang, right? It's interconnected. While that may be true, it's also true, it's tragic, but this is also true, that our life is meaningful and everything matters, even if it's just to die for the sake of something else. That is true. And in my opinion, that is good, because it shows that, yes, our life is meaningful, everything matters, even if it's just to die for the sake of else. What that means is nothing can exist without the other. And so while something may be taking a loss, while we might be eating other life forms, we couldn't exist without those life forms. And so when people say, what is the absolute good? I think that might actually be the absolute good. And until we find a way to reduce suffering to the point where we don't have to go and kill all these other life forms. I mean, that's the best conclusion I've come to, because I just see it as if it's not absolute, it's subjective. I mean, but at least everything matters, everything has its purpose. I mean, this is beautiful. It's like it's beautiful and tragic at the same time. I don't know about you guys, but I want to focus on the beauty of life. I want to focus on solving the problems and not focus on the problems. I want to focus on the solutions, because I truly believe we can cure cancer. I truly believe we can come up with some type of alternative way to eat, where we don't have to just be these savages and kill off all these other species. Are we there yet? No, but maybe in 200 years, 1,000 years, maybe we will be there. Maybe sooner than that. And I strongly believe that, because if as human beings keep getting better, as we keep getting better and reducing suffering on the planet, it just makes sense that we would head that direction. God only knows what that looks like. I really don't know. But yeah, it's exciting and scary at the same time, because human beings, we just keep improving and keep providing more order to society and keep advancing technology to the point where it's like, what will we evolve into? What will we turn into? God only knows. I mean, will we be immortal in 300 years? Will we metamorphose into something else entirely? It's like, will we merge with technology like Elon Musk is talking about? It's like, you never know. You really, really never know. So it's like, how do you add meaning to your life? You have to realize that you're not everything you could be, and that you could be better. And if you were better, what impact would you leave in society? What problems could you solve? Human beings, we solve problems. We make things better. So by adding value to your life, you'll be able to help the people you love, the people you care about. Not just the people you care about, but the world. So you say, how to add meaning to your life? Find a way to contribute to the world, to contribute to the people you care about. And that could be anything. You know, like, I'm making this video just to help people, because, you know, that's kind of what I like doing. I like sharing my thoughts. I like learning things. And I like bettering myself, because I know if I better myself, I better the people I care about. And not just the people I care about, the entire world. I leave an impact. Every human being will leave an impact on this planet, no matter how small, no matter how big, you will leave an impact. The question is, what do you want your impact to be? I know I intend to impact the world. I intend to do something great. So, you know, yeah, good morning. But it's like, yeah, figure that out. It's about impact. It's about bringing order to chaos. This world is chaos, and it is mankind's job to bring order to the chaos. If you look at, like, I'm going to go biblical on you guys, and whether or not you believe it, whatever, it's just a theory. The idea is that God brought order to the universe by creating the heavens and the earth, right? All right, there was chaos in the beginning, and God said, let there be light, let there be this and that. He created everything. God himself brought order to the world. And then he created mankind in his image, which means he gave mankind the same ability. And mankind has the ability to bring about order. And that same order is being produced on the earth today. And we're bringing order to the world and to the animals and to nature itself, so that we won't suffer as much from the chaos, because we have order in place. And if you ask me what the purpose of life is, that is the purpose of life, because that's just what's self-evident. So to answer your question, that is the question, to reduce as much suffering as possible, so that we can have a better life for ourselves, and just create a better life for our life forms, if possible. This is why, like, you know, I avoid killing things. I don't kill things unless I really, really have to. Like, whether it's an insect, an animal. I avoid killing things because for me, if I'm not going to eat it to survive or help myself or protect myself from danger, it doesn't make sense to kill it. I mean, killing for the sake of killing, I don't really subscribe to that. I know people do it. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. Again, this is literally a video game. We're like on this planet, you know, we've got like a health bar, you know, we got a hunger level, thirst level. We're on this planet. It's literally a video game. The rules are kind of set, but like you could go and do so much, and you could like almost break the code and like glitch out and figure out all this stuff, like creating cars and all that. You break the program, right? Like the Matrix. Like, is this a simulation? Who knows? But okay, back to what I was saying. I don't just go around killing things personally because everything has its purpose. Everything has its meaning. So like, if I'm not gonna eat it, or now if like there's something in my house, like if there's like a roach or a bug or a lizard or something in my house, yeah, I'll kill it because I gotta protect my territory, right? I gotta protect my family and myself, and I don't want those things in my house that are violating my space, my territory. So I have to protect that. But I don't go around killing for the sake of killing because it all has its purpose. It all has its meaning, right? Everything needs one another. And if our life is meaningful and everything matters, even if it's just to die for the sake of something else, we have to have enough humility and enough understanding to realize that we cannot exist without anything else. We have to realize that everything is connected. So that's just like a value of mine. I don't go around and just killing for the sake of killing. I think we should be trying to reduce as much suffering as possible, like I said. So I hope that answers your question. It's kind of a long video, but hey, it is what it is. This is like a very subjective question, but I thought I would just try to answer it logically the best way I can, rationally, and what makes sense. And this makes sense to me. It's to bring about order so that we can reduce suffering to the universe. And that's all I have to say. Hope this answers your question. Have a good day. Be sure to subscribe because I'm going to be producing content like this more often. So yeah, see you.